Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Maybe you need a timeout.
Welcome to the Luke and Rory podcast. Here are two guys, knuckleheads if you may, who jump in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live show.
You know, it's exciting.
They've decided to take that Facebook Live show and put it into a podcast.
Oh, good for you!
Why? Because can you really get enough of Luke and Rory?
That's a good one.
Meet Luke Weaver, who's known for his dead sexy hair.
You are an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to its own.
Meet Rory Pitts, who's never found an apple cup he can't be disappointed about.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
Two guys who went to the same high school, love the same music, love sports, love movies, love their families.
Look at these clowns. Hand-picked monkeys.
All right, looks like the boys are caffeinated and ready to go.
Come on, get some coffee. You want some coffee?
That's enough nonsense. Now let's join the show.
Sound good?
Of course it sounds good.
Sounds phenomenal.
Sounds awesome.
Well, we hope it sounds great. We got the better mic, so.
Big apologies to NARS.
Because there have been times it's not so good. Yeah.
It was a great time with NARS last week.
Yeah.
But the audio quality was horrible. And there's only one person to blame for that. This guy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to take it.
Oh, yeah. You'll give it to me.
Yeah, I'll let you have it. That being said, I've had a couple people reach out to me over the last week that were like, dude, great interview with NARS. Good meat, good stuff.
Yeah.
Which it was. It really was. I went back and listened. And where the audio wasn't the best, it's not like you couldn't hear it. And
it felt like as time went on, either your ears adjusted to the crappy audio.
I call that adapt and overcome. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
No, what a great interview.
But that was fun. That was fun.
One love. Appreciate you, NARS, coming on. I love hearing his story and just, like one thing ended for him and just utilize that to like, okay, what's next?
Right.
Yes, there's some depression. Yes, there's some pity and some woe is me, but also like, I can't just sit here and dwell on it forever. And he's built something really impressive for young women who want to play basketball in our area. And good on him for coming on. We really appreciate it. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Scotland.
Well, if you guys don't already know, welcome to the Luke and Rory show. That's Luke. I'm Rory. And today we're going to pretend to be professional. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Let's say, just going to lie to him in the opening minute, are you?
Check out these dead sexy mugs.
Dude.
To go with your dead sexy hair.
There's a level of sexy that needs to be approved for a show like this.
Yep.
And this is it right here. Yeah.
I agree. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. And there's a select few of you that have received these.
Yeah. Now, all that to say, there's even a more select few who understood the assignment.
That's true.
So far.
That's true. And we can tell you what the assignment was. It was in the card.
Yeah.
It was in the card.
But I'll tell you who did understand the assignment. Peter and Sarah Corder. They understood the assignment.
Dilly.
Yeah. And and by all means, we upheld our end of the bargain. So yeah.
So I see we got people here, but I don't see any comments like you guys suck or go away or anything like that. So can you guys hear us? Is the audio good?
See.
I mean, the settings are this. There you go. Touche.
Keep your ego in check, buddy.
I agree.
All right, man.
Well, hey, before we get started on anything, we always forget to do this, and we need to start doing it at the beginning of every show. And that is to thank the good folks here at Electric Coffee House. Stop in here, get your beanie, grab some coffee, grab some food. You guys, this place is hopping.
The atmosphere is electric.
Oh,
and
we're done.
Yeah. No.
Oh my god.
But for real, like, what's funny is they got food and beer in here, and I never really pay attention to it. I mean, look at some of this stuff, dude. They got street style tacos, baked eggs with cheese and fresh herbs. Gluten free. They got the charged quesadilla.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm on hour 36 of a 36-hour fast.
I'll take the house. Yeah. Just, well, you have this. I'll have this.
So come down here. You get a chance, come to downtown Sumner. grab some coffee, hang out for a little bit, or walk around to the shops downtown. I freaking love walking around to these shops down here.
Dude, a good book, my favorite.
Yeah,
I love going into
it's a
good
great
book.
place to go into.
Yeah.
So again,
Speaking
thank you, Electric Coffee House, for hosting us and allowing us to
Yes.
do this. And it's such a great venue. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Tina, you're the best.
Yes.
Look who's on. Sarah Corder. Sarah, we were just singing your praises.
So you're the only one that says we suck.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I like to keep it real. Other people tiptoe around us a little bit, walk on eggshells. But
We know Crab doesn't. Where's
Sarah.
Crab at?
Hey, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, we appreciate the shout outs that you gave us. Genuinely appreciate it. You're the best. Might be time for you guys to sell and buy. I don't know.
I was actually talking to Peter about that a couple weeks ago.
were you?
We grabbed lunch.
Nice. I haven't seen Peter in a minute.
And it's actually a conversation that they've had in their house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Peter in a minute.
I won't go into details though.
Gotta go golfing. So,
All
right.
No, I don't want to go golfing with Peter.
I do because
No.
he helps my stroke. dude.
He's too good.
I know it's great.
He's too good.
Well, you don't like to be helped. I like to be helped.
Well, the thing is, I play and we can't say it on the podcast. But what is the style that I like to play? It's called
A game of-
Whack F.
Yeah,
That's how I
a
play.
game of whack suck.
Yeah, that's how I play. So when Peter comes in, he says, "Hey, you got to hold the club this way, and you got to stand that way, and you got to do this, and you got to do that." I'm like, "Bro, you're not wrong, but I suck."
Which I'm like, okay, cool. Like help me through it. Like trying to get better here. And Rory's just like, you think I don't know that, jackass? Like,
Speaking of
throw
golf,
the club.
speaking of golf, this wasn't even on the agenda, but can we just talk about for a second the Phoenix Open?
Oh my gosh, dude.
I mean, did Happy Gilmore just come to reality?
Just the guys like in the mud, like
Yes!
just drunk, just. I'm like,
Oh, there's Sarah. Okay, it is working.
way to go out in public and just show your ass for everybody. Like, get it together, man.
Well, I love it because there is a Twitter account that I don't follow, but the way that Elon runs his department there,
Yeah.
I basically get things that come in even though I don't follow them.
Yeah.
And there's one called Shooter McGavin. Oh my gosh.
Wait, correction. You didn't follow.
I follow.
You now do.
I do now. And it's basically just whoever runs this account, they just take the spirit of Shooter McGavin, and that's what they do on there. And let me tell you, why don't you people go back to your shanties?
I'm just imagining that dude that's like making the rounds like in the mud, falling down the hill and all that. I'm just imagining like that dude's wife, mother, just seeing that and just like, can you imagine his mom at like knitting hour and be like, Janice,
Is that your son?
is that Carl? No. Carl's actually out of the country right now. Just the pride.
Oh my
The
gosh.
pride. Meanwhile, the dad, that's my boy. Doing it right.
I love the fact that golfers, a couple of the golfers, I think Ben Johnson is one of them. I could be wrong. I don't really follow golf.
Sounds like a good golf
Yeah,
name.
sure.
Ben Johnson.
But just to see some of them, like, can you all just shut up? And I'm like, Happy Gilmore.
And there's actually like a divide on tour. There is some guys that like want to bring more excitement,
Yeah.
and then there's the old guard, which is kind of funny because some of the old guard surprised me. Like, if I was just to see Rory McIlroy like in an interview in his everyday life, I'd be like, this man wants to bring the party to the course.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. Like, he's like, can we have some etiquette, please? It's kind of interesting.
I look at it like this because there have been some golfers that were pissing and moaning about it. I look at it like this. You don't have to participate. Now, granted, the tour wants you to.
Yeah.
In the winter, I think won 1.8 million. I think they won $1 million or more. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's like, put up with the party atmosphere for one weekend.
Yeah.
Give the fans a little bit of, a little Happy Gilmore-like
Bring
stuff.
out the king, John Daly, on his throne.
Oh my gosh! Let John Daly be
Just
the
like
MC.
one weekend. Yeah.
Just one weekend. I'm
Yeah.
not saying the
Yeah.
entire tour.
Yeah.
I am a traditionalist in a lot of things, and I do agree with, on a golf course, let them do their thing, be quiet, all that kind of stuff. But hell, let them have that one weekend of just craziness.
Can you imagine if golf was more like basketball, like when someone's on the free throw line, and everyone's just going, just absolutely ape.
Big whiffer?
Yeah. You suck. just rumbling the bleachers, singing songs. Like,
I'm surprised it's taking this long.
if someone shanks it, they start singing "Hey, hey, hey, goodbye." like, let's go.
Oh my goodness!
Let's go.
Do it. Obviously, it was a hit. If you look at the attendance over the years,
Yeah.
it's been a hit. I just
One a year, dude.
Yeah, just look at it as like an all-star game or something. Just it's a fun weekend.
And like,
yeah, there are some jackasses in the crowd.
Probably some of the courses don't want it because they're afraid about like course management stuff. Like,
Right.
have it a horseshoe or something. Like, they don't care. It's obvious they don't care as it is. So might as well like.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Like,
Very
let's
good
get
point.
it dialed.
Well, you know, you bring up the fact that
I thought you were going to say a good point. I was like, wow, thanks.
Yep. You bring up the point of, what if your mom is watching you that weekend? What about Jason Kelsey's mom?
Oh my!
What is she thinking right now?
Some of the stuff that's floating around. By the way, I love how it hit or you mean Travis Kelsey's mom?
No,
Jason?
Jason Kelsey.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we all know about Travis and Taylor. We'll eventually talk about that probably.
Well, his meltdown on the sideline.
Well, yeah. But Jason Kelsey, did you see after the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
He had fun.
Did you see the video where it was like someone had the camera on Travis and Taylor, they were playing Taylor Swift music over and Travis over there singing it, dancing with his girl, and then it flashes to Jason. He's like at the bar, like pouring beers down his throat, and it's like, don't be a Travis, be a Jason.
Which all I could think of was Jason's wife. Which
she's got to be just a gem, dude.
She's no nonsense.
Yeah.
And I mean, she won't even wear. Did you see that? She didn't wear the Chiefs outfit.
She wore Cincinnati.
Yeah,
so it was red,
the college, and she had said that the reason she doesn't is she's a Philadelphia Eagles fan through and through, and so I know that she didn't go out with him. I'm sure it was just those two that went to Vegas.
She might have. She does go out. She usually sometimes you catch her in the background of a photo just looking at her husband. What?
Well, my wife and her have that in common.
Yeah, it's you and Chris right there, dude. You
This
and Christy
guy.
perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I want to party with that guy. Like, I feel like I'd be wrecked for days, and he'd be fine.
You know what surprises me is they did their podcast, I think, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they seem none worse for the wear.
Yeah.
It just good stuff there.
His body's a temple. Just filters, dude. Yeah, I love that guy.
You bring up,
even my wife is like, like you see these things floating around, like, do you want Jason or like ladies, Jason or Travis, like, and it's like an overwhelming Jason. Like, my wife is a Jason lover. Like, it's, I mean,
Elle says, when I first saw her sweatshirt, I thought it was a Chick-fil-A. Hey, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, you can't go
and
wrong.
there's Shannon. Good morning, boys.
Have you had their sauce? Oh, Shannon, morning.
Man.
Oh, we missed you.
Boy, it's been a minute.
Shannon, if you don't reach out when you're in town next, I know you pop in from time to time, just so I can meet you on the street corner and give you a hug, I'm going to be very disappointed. Very disappointed.
He will.
I actually was just going through some old episodes before we started up again, and I had you don't forget, but you just kind of, we're doing an episode, and I wasn't really paying attention to where we're at. Like, the backdrop was that wood backdrop.
I love that
downtown.
backdrop. That was,
and all of a sudden you could hear Shannon in the background, just morning, boys. And I was like, I love her. So,
that was fun. That was so fun.
The good old days, they refer to that as.
That is true.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, let's go and let's jump into the Super Bowl real quick. And if you are Mayberry, you can drop out for a couple minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. 5, 10 minutes.
You brought up. Let's talk about what Travis did to the coach on the sidelines.
Over the line.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about it is
that.
Jason called him out on the podcast.
Yep.
He was like, bro.
Yep.
Over the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he even said, he's like, you know what? You're right.
I like what he said, too. Morning, Bella. I like what he said. He said, we were playing terrible. I'll give him credit for this, because he was like, we were playing terrible. More importantly, I was playing terrible, and I just didn't handle it well. And I see the video. I'm bumping into Coach and knocking him off balance. And then he was thankful to Coach Reed for letting me know in a way, like, that's not okay, but also still loving me.
Right. And I love the fact that he said Coach Reed came over after that incident, came over to the bench and said, said what he said, but he also said, hey, listen, I got like 1,000 cameras on me right now.
Yeah.
and you gotta reel that in.
Yeah.
Take that passion out on the field.
Yeah. And it's like the first quarter.
Right.
Like,
and the thing, when it happened,
yeah,
I didn't think a ton about it, because if you've played sports, that the emotions and the passion of the game can overtake you.
But like, I guess the flip side of that too, and I think, and I hope he's aware of this, is that if that was Joe Bag of Donuts, third string defensive lineman who lost his cool, like, hit the showers, bud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bit of privilege to being as good as you are, being a superstar, and I hope you recognize and take inventory that's especially in that's not okay.
It sounded to me like he had been on that podcast. Now we'll see what happens when they get out there again, and they're trying to go for the third straight one.
Yeah. Gosh, says God is great. 100%, buddy. I love it. Keep going.
Kayla says, when you're mad at yourself, taking it out on others, prime example. Yeah.
Yeah. Crab's here. Good morning, buddy. Yeah, it was a prime example. And I don't think it's a good thing for kids to have to see that look up to him. There's already, and I've seen it, like on the basketball circuit, there's already a sense of entitlement with some of these kids that are good.
Yeah.
Or think that they can get crazy with their coach or whatever the case may be. And so I'm glad that he at least acknowledged that that's not okay.
Yep. And even if he doesn't believe it, that was the right thing to do, was to acknowledge it.
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it happened, I know some people are like, oh my gosh, it's the vaccine that's caused him to get all steroided out and go after the Andrew Reid. I'm like, no, it's the moment. I mean, you're playing in the biggest game of your life at that point right there. And
yeah,
he was wrong. He admitted it. They moved on.
Yeah.
And I think as NFL fans, I can move on too.
But yeah, I think it's important for young people and parents and whatever to realize that, like, I think when you're a grown man coaching grown men, things are a little different than, say, college, high school, youth sports.
Yeah.
I do think you're starting to see this coach is coach, and you need to respect that. But it's more of a partnership at times than, when you're a youth and you're learning things, the game. So anyway.
Well, and and before you get to that comment there, one of the things I'm actually looking forward to Tom Brady next year in the booth. I've been listening to a little bit of his podcast, and he was talking with Steve Young the other day, and he was breaking down what it's like on the field versus what people see on TV.
Yeah. And
the thing is that we see it from the fan point of view, but down there on the field, they're just basically, it really is X's and O's. And they're trying to look at, okay, that's what they're putting out there.
Scheme.
Okay, so statistically, and it doesn't mean that they're doing like Moneyball type of statistically, but what they're saying is statistically, when they run that, we can run this, and we have a high probability of success. And
facts.
And so the thing is that we see what we see on TV, and we're like, how did you not throw that pass? How did you not do that ball? Why did you run that play?
Yeah.
And the thing is down in the field, it's completely different. Like, we'll look at a play, and Brady was saying this, we'll look at a play, we'll see them go 7 yards on a run or a bootleg or something, and then the fans are like, good job. The announcer's like, great job. And he says, on the field, I'm like, damn it, I missed that wide open read over there because I was too busy doing this. And that. So he's not celebrating
15 yards instead of 8.
Right. That's what he's thinking. And I just thought that was really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
I love that.
I love that part of the game. I want
Brady in the booth next year is going to be.
I'm loving it. I like the idea.
Now,
all right, what do we got here?
First off, we would be remiss if we didn't say good morning to Carrie Close.
Oh, that's right.
Good morning, sweetheart. Good to have you on here. Cheers.
She is the
president of the Thurston County chapter, the Luke Rory fan club. So throw Crab's comment on there.
Okay.
It says, listen, I found few things in life more enjoyable than watching the Santa Clara 49ers choke away Super Bowls. Those are the facts as we know them. I would also like to say this in defense of Brock Purdy. I think that the time has come to stop with the whole he's just a game manager type thing. Guy had 31 touchdowns this year to 11 interceptions. Okay, We don't know why he wasn't highly recruited out of high school. I don't have those sheets in front of me as far as his grade, how he graded out. I don't know why he wasn't drafted until. What I do know is that as a grown man that can play grown man football at a high level.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, Kyle Shanahan needs to acknowledge the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let that man roll. Like, they played so conservative at times in the game, like they were trying not to lose. That man can make throws, man. And I saw him make a couple throws that I thought were interceptions where he threaded the needle. And I'm like, okay, throw away the Mr. Irrelevant. Throw away the college he went to, his grades. The man can play football.
Yep.
Cut him loose. Let him throw the ball downfield. You have the weapons around him with Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. You can be balanced and still let that man make some throws. Part of what makes Josh Allen so good is that gunslinger mentality. And I don't think Brock Purdy is got that full gunslinger mentality. And by no means am I saying does he have Josh Allen's arm, because that guy's got a gift. But let that man just play the game of football.
He's got the confidence to do it.
Yeah, he's got the confidence. He's got a quiet swagger about him.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league.
Yep.
Cut him loose, let him go.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm with
and
Crab.
I think the game would have been different.
I'm with Crab in the sense of, I didn't want to see the 49ers win. But I wanted, like I said last week, I wanted Brock Purdy and I wanted Christian McCaffrey to get a Super Bowl win. That's what I was shooting for.
100%,
and I thought, man,
if any good would have came out of it, would have been that.
Oh, that's all I wanted. Yeah. I mean,
those
other than the, and I saw like Softy put on.
Softy's an idiot.
Softy, I think Softy and Crab might be related because Softy's just like, what do you think about that, 40 whiners? And I'm thinking, dude, we didn't even make the playoffs.
And I'll put this out there, and you might see this. I've met Softy 3 or 4 times in person. Like, I was at a dinner with him, sat at the same table with him for like 4 hours at Michael Benefit Charity years back when I was in the airline industry. He's an idiot in real life. Like, I have a picture of him. It was a group picture of our table, and we all get in front and have a picture of him. And Rachel's standing there like in an evening dress, kind of low evening dress. And at the last minute, he turns and puts his face right in Rachel's chest with his wife right there and makes us like look like. And I'm just like, bro, can you just class it up for a minute?
Well, no.
So
he's a husky.
Anyway, yeah. But anyways, all that to say, I think you gotta let. I think they played way too conservative. I think it cost them the game. You should have let Brock get a little more risky with his down the field throws. And I mean, they really didn't throw the ball deep down the field more than once.
No, it sounded like it felt like they had a game plan in the first half and they went away from it in the second half. Matt Hilditch says Purdy was one blocked extra point or 1 point. One punt not hitting a foot away from winning a Super Bowl over a dynasty level team. Hard to think that isn't a good enough quarterback.
Yeah,
solid.
He's a good quarterback.
Solid point.
By the way, Hilditch up here said yesterday was Rory and my 2-year Facebook anniversary.
Aww.
Happy Valentine anniversary, buddy.
I was thinking about you.
Absolutely. What else we got? The good thing about Brady broadcasting is everything he says has validity. True story. Okay, so let's talk about a couple more things in relation to the game, and then move on. One, Patrick Mahomes is really good.
He is really good.
He is really good. Like if you think about it, he's just 28 years old. We're quite possibly a year or two away from starting to say, hey, what is the conversation around him being the GOAT? I mean, like at what point do you start? Look, I know it's 3 to 7 with Brady, and I still shoot me if you want. I still think Montana is still the greatest of all time. And there's an interesting article last year about Montana and that this guy put out there as far as like if it wasn't for the injuries and the way they played the game back then, Montana would have had 7 rings, and you can say what you want, regardless of it all. Whether you think it's Montana, whether you think it's Brady, whether you think it's Manning, whatever you think. We're at the point now, and he's only 28 years old,
where he's walking down the front. The front
where he's sticking his head in the door at least in the conversation. Yeah, fellas, is that chair open? Like, I mean, 3 in 4 years. I mean,
Crab says, "What's funny in that game? Mahomes was the game manager. Yeah, he was for about 3 quarters. Yeah, he was for 3 quarters. But to your point, yeah, I think we can even start having not GOAT. We can't have the GOAT conversation. In my mind, we can't have the GOAT conversation.
He's only 28.
I do think Brady is the GOAT. I simply think that, one, because he's got 6
Heavy hands,
rings.
7. Or is it 6?
I think it's 6. Maybe it is 7. You know what? Maybe it is 7. Maybe Tampa Bay was 7.
I think it
Crab knows. That's useless information off the top of his head. In Montana was one of the greatest ever to play the game. Don't get me wrong. I know the NFL has changed since Montana's playing days, but still, you got to win. Brady played more games. What does Brady and Belichick have together? 30 playoff wins? Is that what it was?
50.
50?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's a lot because Mahomes and Reed have like 21, and then it was like at least another 20.
Yeah, I want to see Mahomes have a long career like Brady, and then we could talk about having the conversation. Right now, like the Jordan and the LeBron conversation, we're not there with Mahomes.
Well, and I just think, I think you're right. I've always had a hard time comparing players from different eras.
Oh yeah.
And I bring it up with Montana. Is like, look, there was no quarterback protection back in the day. Like,
agreed.
Take his flipping head off.
They used to wear the regular old chin straps, not the cushioned ones.
Take his head off, hit him at the knees, see if you can't break his leg backwards so he can't.
Joe Theismann?
Yeah, I mean, it was just different. And and I think the same thing with basketball, right? Like, there's the arguments out there of the greatest players of all time. I know Mike would say Michael Jordan. I would say Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. There's the LeBron camp now. I think Kobe.
I think what we need to do is we need to change it to who's the greatest athlete or player of that generation.
Yeah, and I'm more broad in the sense that, like, I like to say I think there's 5 or 10 people that have an argument, and I'm not willing to give it to any one person. Like, did the Lakers win 5 rings without Magic Johnson? No. Did the Bulls win 6 without Jordan? No.
Right. And here's the thing: is Matt Hillich says it cannot just be about rings. Rings are about team strength, including defense and special teams, and about the level of competition.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. Oh, there's Mary.
Yeah.
Mary, are we already gone past 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you because if I bring up the conversation of Ken Griffey Jr. as one of the greatest baseball players ever, how many World Series rings does he have?
How I always say it with Junior too is like, because I didn't see Mays play, right? Like,
right.
I always say, Ken Griffey Jr. is the greatest baseball player I ever saw play.
Right. I agree.
I mean, that's just the facts for me. Like, he's the greatest player.
And I haven't seen Ohtani play, so.
In his prime. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen video, but I haven't seen him play in person.
And it's, I think that, because then it's like, well, how far then do you move Dan Marino down the list because he doesn't have a Super Bowl?
Let's come back to Dan Marino.
When the man could just quite simply make defenses look silly.
Yeah.
So
well, Crab says, can you believe they fired their defensive coordinator?
Unbelievable.
I think there was this going on behind the scenes. I don't think it was just the Super Bowl from what I've been reading. I think it was some stuff going on behind the scenes.
Even the Super Bowl, like, if you think about it, the man held the Chiefs to 17 points, like,
right,
in regulation. And it wasn't until overtime they got that last touchdown. And yeah, it's not because Steve Wilkes can't coach, because obviously a man can coach his rear end off.
Right.
So,
right. So
all right.
That's the wrap of the Super Bowl. Let's talk about let's bring it back to Dan Marino. Dan Marino had one of the commercials that I liked. Now let's talk about Super Bowl commercials. I actually was happy with the commercials this year. Like, there was nothing that was too risque.
I don't think there was anything. In my mind, there was one commercial that was head and shoulders above the rest.
Okay.
And then I didn't think they were bad after that. I always loved the Budweiser commercials because I love the king of beers, like the horses, the Clydesdales and that. That's always great. In my mind, nothing beats the Donkeys commercial with Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
When Matt Damon, when they're walking away and he goes, "Hey, bro, when I said I'd do anything for you, this is anything."
Oh, I thought that line was great.
Yeah.
I love Matt Damon's deadpan in that, where it's just like, how do you like donuts? I'm sorry.
And it's like America's like you throw Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo out, throw out Travis, and those two are America's sweethearts.
Oh my gosh, we need a new Dumb and Dumber with those two.
Oh gosh, it's just. Well, so what else did you like?
Where is our resident Boston guy? Where are you at, Drew? We need to share in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put down a couple of these. The Arnold and DeVito in State
That
Farm.
was a good one. Yeah.
And I love the fact Neba. She's going into Leba.
Yeah.
Get into the chopper.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, you're a backstabber.
Stabber.
It's Stabber.
Bring back the twins, dude.
Matt Hilditch says, I thought all the commercials this year were funny and clever and fun, and Duncan was the best, but I don't think any will be considered all-time. No, I don't disagree with you.
I think the Duncan one will be an all-time.
I think it'll be up there
For
in the
me, at
conversation.
least.
Yeah, it'll be in the conversation, but it was just nice. It was nice to be able to, because we were over at a friend's house watching the Super Bowl, and, there's things that if I'm watching the Super Bowl at home, if I don't like the commercial, I'll just be like, good grief. But if I'm at someone else's house and I know that they kind of have the same values as me, I feel a little uncomfortable if there's a risque commercial.
Read the room.
Right. And fortunately, I wasn't really concerned about any of the commercials. Dunkin' Donuts, Christopher Walken in BMW.
Love Christopher Walken.
Oh my gosh! And everybody that's a brilliant commercial.
That was a good one.
Have everybody do his impression. He's just like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. He's so great.
Couch potatoes for Pluto TV.
That was pretty good.
That was very creative.
It was creative. Yeah.
The bet MGM, but not Tom Brady, with Vince Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
You can vote, but or you can bet, but not Tom Brady.
That was funny. I had to rewind on that one because I had walked out for a second. I came back just in time to see Vince Vaughn and stuff on the screen. I was like, "What did I just miss?"
Yeah. And I like that one scene where he's shooting pool.
Tom, you can stay.
Tom, you can stay. But how funny is that? Someone brought that up. We'll get back to the commercials here in just a moment. But somebody brought that up and said, we just ended a dynasty, yet Tom Brady is still here.
Still here. Still rocking and rolling. Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? So this one with Dan Marino, the M&M and Almost Champions.
Yeah.
I love that. Who did they have on there? They had Bruce Smith. Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, Scarlett, Which when Scarlett's on, I got to pretend I'm not looking.
Yeah. Oh, sure, you're going to wear the red dress. Thanks.
Yeah,
Scarlett.
my wife's just like, oh, it's your lady on the TV. Yeah. My lady's right here.
I like the one with April from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Where she's having a blast, the Mountain Dew blast.
Yeah.
And that's just her character. And then Ron Swanson comes out on a freaking dragon.
Ron Swanson's about to be the president of the United States in the movie Civil War, and I'm having a hard time reckoning it.
Oh, I know. The Kawasaki party in the back with mullets.
Good morning, Aunt Terry.
That one.
I think I missed it.
Oh my gosh. So these two guys get into a Kawasaki, was it side by side?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, as soon as they get in, mullets grow in the back. And then they start going down the road and they pass a grizzly bear, and mullet starts growing in the back, and they pass a dog or whatever, and mullet grows back. They pass Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Mullet grows in the back.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. It was funny. And
okay,
it was just,
I'll have to look it up.
Business in the front, party in the back. Let's come back to the Kennedy one, because I also want to talk about that one with the other controversial one.
Oh man.
The Body Armor AI commercial. I wrote that down, but I don't remember the premise of it now.
I don't either.
Okay.
Let's move past it.
Let's see. I love the NFL Pathways program.
I love that commercial.
With the kid in Africa.
Kid, yeah.
And special effects are so amazing, dude.
Bro, you can't even tell the difference anymore.
But that I got a little moisture in the eye because I thought, man, that is so cool.
It's a little moist.
Yeah, to just get the message out there to kids in other countries to come play.
I know someone was like, "Oh, it's an American sport." I saw someone write that, like, "Why are we trying to force it?" I'm like, "Oh, they force soccer on us, since everyone seems to be okay with that."
So true.
Yeah, I wish they'd bring cricket over here. I love cricket.
The Uber Eats, people forgetting things. So
that's fun.
I didn't quite understand it at first, but as it went along, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And you got jelly roll.
Jelly roll. Yeah.
Who's writing on my face? It won't come off.
Oh, what a name.
Mr. T and Skechers.
I missed it.
Oh my gosh.
I kept going in and out, because kids wanted to do things and I'd been gone all weekend, so there was some I missed.
It was funny because he's like, I pity the fool who has to tie his shoes.
Bro, let's hope Mr. T never passes away, dude. I won't be okay.
No, I won't be either. Jason Momoa, Zach, and
that was good.
Donald with the flash dance.
Yeah. That one was good.
And I liked, what's her name? The actress from Flashdance. Something Beal.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she was at the top.
By the way, can we just talk about Jason Momoa being a national treasure? A national treasure.
There is something about him. He's not, how much I do not like Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like Jack Black, I will.
Which is funny because you're literally like.
Maybe that's why.
A real life Jack Black.
Maybe that's why. I also know somebody in my life who reminds me of Jack Black. and it just
It's you, bud.
it's not me. It's not me, and I'll never reveal who it
It's
is.
the man in the mirror.
But there's something about Jason Momoa. I'm not sure what it is yet.
I read a story about him. I digress. Let me give me a second.
Okay.
I read a story about him
Story
last year. You know, and he was born in Hawaii and then moved with his mom because his parents split to Iowa, and he was raised in Iowa. Which not a lot of people know that.
I didn't know that.
He was raised in Iowa his whole life.
Okay.
And I read this story, and it was an article basically from the viewpoint of his high school girlfriend, who was also like his best friend. Like they were like best friends, and then like dated, and then like broke up, I think, and then were back together. And then he went off to like seek his fame and fortune, and they went their separate ways, obviously on good terms. And all she had to say was just the most like, she's like, was this guy always just like the best looking, the homecoming king, the whatever, the guy that lit up the room. And it was like he didn't know, like he was so down to earth, And so what happened was they eventually, he came home to Iowa and he was doing he wanted to do a movie premiere or whatever, and it was in his hometown, this small town. And so she's like a divorced mom of 3 now. She's successful, like she does, and she's like, well, I'm gonna go to the meet and greet, like get an autograph or a picture or whatever. And soon as he sees her, and it's been like 20 years, or whatever, he's like, oh my gosh. He comes out from behind the table and they're taking selfies and hugging. And he's like, I'll be home in like a couple months, hanging out with my mom. Let's get coffee. And like, I just was like, I love this guy. Like, he's just so down. He hasn't forgotten who he is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And he doesn't take himself too seriously.
Like I said, I can't put my finger on it. Like, I liked that commercial.
Yeah.
Because of how he was in it.
Right.
But I'll figure it out. Okay. I'll figure it out. Okay, let's get to the ones that sucked. These are the ones, in my opinion, that sucked. And you guys chime in.
Prepared.
Okay, Chris Pratt and Pringles. And I like Chris Pratt.
I could see why you don't like it, but there was still a part of me that liked it.
It was dumb.
It was dumb, but it was like, but I'm like, so is half what Chris Pratt does. and and it's still funny. Like,
I want Andy.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum in Apartments.com with the aliens and.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't get it.
Now I'm gonna guess that you probably liked this one, but I think it was dumb. Michael Cera and Sarah V.
The only thing I thought was funny is that my kids use Sarah V, my oldest daughter, so I kept kind of laughing about that. And I kind of like the tongue-in-cheek, like, and Michael Cera just like making fun of himself, kind of a deal. Like, and he's got this like rough stubble going on, like. So I thought it was okay. It wasn't great by any stretch of it. It didn't annoy me. I kind of got a little chuckle, but it wasn't great. So,
okay, Ice Spice and Starry Soda.
Okay,
that's where she's sitting on the couch, and there's like a lemon and a lime cartoon character sitting next to her.
Okay, listen.
Oh boy, where are we going with this?
I don't like anything that has to do with Ice Spice.
Crab said, I thought Sarah V was pretty good.
I don't like one single thing that has to do with that.
I agree.
The titles of a couple of her songs that I've seen, I'm like, what kind of no talent ass clown are you in this world that can just get away with this crap? Remember when you used to have some kind of artistry and like some kind of poeticness to your music?
Well,
she has a song title that has the word fart in it.
The same kind of no talent ass clown that can sit with Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl.
Chris, the Ice Spice can literally fall off the face of the earth. Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Well, and it honestly, and this is something that my wife said. Okay. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to throw her under the bus, but my wife said it literally seeing her up there in the booth with Taylor Swift lowered her opinion of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I agree with
like
your wife.
She was just like you can say whatever you want about Taylor Swift, but she's a songwriting talent who's made it on her own accord.
Right.
Good for you, sweetheart.
Right.
You're way more talented than this clown.
Right. And if you see, what is it? Is it the video of Taylor chugging beers?
Yes.
And you look out to the side and you see Ice Spice doing all these, some people are saying they were satanic signs, and she's wearing an upside down cross. And I agree with your wife. Like, yeah. Why?
Be better.
Blake Lively, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're best friends. Okay.
Yeah, you're not.
I love Did you talk about Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
It was it a post on Instagram?
Yeah. About it was like a Deadpool 3 like teaser.
Yeah.
He's like, has anybody seen my wife?
You're
Minecraft.
You're not Spice Girl. Change your damn name.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was funny too in the
what's your brother
Uber
doing?
Eats commercial.
Yeah.
Where you've got what is her name? Victoria.
What Beckham?
What spices her? What?
See, there was
Come on,
Spice,
Crab Nose.
Scary Spice, right? Like
Glitzy Spice.
I don't even know.
Allspice.
Yeah, wearing an upside down cross. Yeah, I just like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I like that commercial. I like that commercial, that Uber Eats one where it had Posh. Is it Posh?
Yes.
Posh Spice and
Rory dug that
Beckham.
out of the
That's
deep
right.
trenches.
Oh man, no, not Sporty Spice. Good try, Krista. We know that you knew it was Posh.
Yeah.
Of course, I was going to answer it. So what did I say?
Rory's the one that threw it.
Yeah,
You might have should have hold on to that one for a minute.
All right, I'll come back to He Gets Us. Nerds Unleashed. Nerds Unleash Your Sense, the Flashdance one where it's a gummy thing and all the nerds fall on him.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Whatever.
Pfizer. I won't say anymore.
You know that we're either the only or the one of only 2 countries in the entire world that allows drug companies to market to the general public.
I don't like. That's a whole another episode.
Like, tell your doctor you want to try whatever. How about I talk to my doctor and find out what I need?
Right.
Like I love it. Your doctor's had 12 years of medical school, and you didn't get out of Olympic College. But tell him that you need this. Tell her this is what you need.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Crab's on the same page. We agree.
Yeah.
Drumstick ice cream. It was Dr. Umstick. It was.
Oh,
they were like on an airplane. Stupid. Okay, so those are the ones I thought were stupid. Let's come back to
The controversy.
Let's talk about the Kennedy one real quick. The Kennedy one. Wait, before we do that, Ed Keeley says, "Had never heard of Ice Spice before. Thanks for lowering the bar, boys." Don't blame us. Blame Taylor.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Thanks, Eddie.
So there was a little bit of controversy about the Kennedy political ad. I guess there were some people that were upset. Oh, I know what I want to talk to you about. I'm not going to forget it.
It was Jill Biden. She was upset.
There were people that are upset because it brought back the feelings of when Robert was running and JFK was running. And Robert Kennedy said, "Hey, here's the thing. I liked the ad, but I didn't put it together. It wasn't me. It was like this pack or whatever. But it was nostalgic.
I thought it was nostalgic.
Right.
I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever.
I'm still not voting for him.
You know what it did for me? It definitely made me go, yeah. Oh, that's right. Robert Kennedy's right.
That's right. He's an independent.
And to be honest with you,
let's see. So Ed says, by the way, that's a Greek cross, not upside down.
Okay.
Is that what she said? Because I don't disagree if she's wearing it for that reason.
Yeah. She looks Greek.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Dittmer, good morning.
Snowy morning from the white north of North Shore. Great
Bro.
white north of North Shore.
Mr. Dittmer, take a look at my Facebook story.
Yeah.
I got about 3 or 4 inches up there in the hills of
That's what she
Tahuya.
said. What?
And so I had to drive the all-wheel beast today to get
She
here.
said equal arm's length. Look it up. All right, that's fair.
Oh, sure. I don't disagree with
That's
you.
fair. Now,
I will look it up.
All right, let's get to the controversy.
Controversy.
So we can get on to the things. So, I'll start it. So
You start it.
Clearly don't want to. It's offending your Catholicism. Whoa. So
Mike,
you talk about the commercial, the wash your feet one.
you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and chime in on this comment right here.
We've had about 5 inches in Port Orchard this morning. That's what she said.
There you go. There you go. I set you up.
Were you able to get out easy? That's what she said. Sorry, you could go on all day.
You could go on all day. Yes, actually, Kayla, yes. Kayla is my next door neighbor. You're a jackass. Yes, I was able to get out just fine. No problems. Once I got past Haven Lake, it had been plowed. I imagine it's plowed now.
Teed it up for you. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
I'm on
There's
a
Mike
roll.
Crab for you.
Okay.
Okay, get to it.
The wash your feet commercial.
Yes.
Okay.
Kayla's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. on one hand, I want to say, for those of you who didn't see it, it was a commercial of based on it was essentially a commercial for WWJD of like what would Jesus do, showing
Boy, that's taking us back.
Yeah, showing folks
mid-90s
washing the feet of other folks,
other people. Yep.
Okay, the downtrodden, if you will. Okay, people, I guess you could say, of repute, washing the feet of downtrodden folks, and linking it or liking it to like what would Jesus do, right? Biblical. Why
It's
can't
easy
I
for
say
you
it?
to say.
Yeah.
Biblically?
Thank you. Okay, so on one hand, I want to say I get the point you're trying to make. On one hand, I want to say that.
Yep.
But on the other hand, I want to say who paid for it?
Yeah.
Because what are you trying to say? Like
Yeah.
who paid for it? Like who's funding this? Because this is like a $6 million commercial.
Oh, $8 million.
$8 million commercial
for 30 seconds.
Yeah. And if you want to talk about what Jesus would do, I don't think he had 8 million shekels in his pocket. And if he did, I think he probably would have just given it to the poor and destitute, bought some fish and loaves, and fed some folks, not marketed to a huge audience. So I think it's kind of hypocritical in that sense. Okay. Now on the flip, and the other part of it, it took a while for this to set in for me. Jesus wasn't, I mean, read the Bible, right? Like if you're a believer in the Bible and
Ed agrees with you. Stop spending the money on things like that. Feed people. It's like the multi-million-dollar tallest cross in the world.
Right. Yeah, like why? Right? Like
Agreed.
Feed people like
how much peanut butter could that buy?
Like witness by your example, right? Be a witness by your example. That's my problem with it. Like that's my biggest problem with it. My other problem with it is that if you're going to use the Bible, and Ed, you are the son of a pastor, right? And I would be curious what your dad would say. Jesus wasn't just in the Bible going around washing everybody's feet. He was going around saying, leave your sins behind you and then washing feet, right? Like he washed the feet of the disciples who left behind their sin and followed him.
And
he wasn't out there. And same thing with Mary Magdalene. Same thing with anybody he came across in the street. He wasn't just out telling people, no, it's cool, be who you are, and I'll wash your feet. That's a mixed message, right, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is the disciples weren't perfect. I mean, they still sinned after they got their feet washed. So that's not the point. There's something, when I first saw the commercial, there was just something about it that didn't sit right with me. Like I like the idea of it, but as the AI generated pictures got more and more down the road there, what I didn't like about it, I love the idea, but I think the execution was poor because at the very end, he said he washed feet. He did more than that, and you hit it on the head. He called people to repent, turn away from their sins, and follow the Lord.
Yeah, this whole thing that gets mixed up in this, if you're a believer, is that the world tries to say sometimes is like, well, look who Jesus was hanging out with. Yes, but he was calling them to be better. He wasn't just like hanging out down at the safe injection site saying it's cool.
Right.
Like he was like, hey, I'm here, but
I'm the bread of life.
I'm going out in the wilderness right now. Take the needle out your arm and follow me.
Right.
Not continue to live in this lifestyle. I'm just going to hang out with you.
Right.
I think that gets like lost in what some people are trying to, whether it's an agenda or they're trying, or they're legitimately just trying to say like, hey, let's love on these people and bring them together. And I can understand that, wrap these people up in your arms, but also don't wrap them up in your arms and say it's okay to continue to make the decisions you're making.
Right.
You have to be better.
Matt Hilditch says, there is plenty of good discussion about the organization and what should they spend money on, but I love the commercial because I felt like it sent an important message to Christians about how these images should not be shocking or strange, but should be what we are used to. That was my feeling about it anyway. And I appreciate you commenting on that, Matt.
Yeah, I do. And
I just felt like the execution was wrong because it's like you said, like there's another one that's actually out there on Twitter, and I think they just posted it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's it's the same idea and the same concept, except it's like the very first picture is a woman who was delivered from being a witch.
Yeah.
And then the next picture is a husband and a father who was delivered from drug addiction. There was another one where there was a former jihadist who came to Christ, and I thought that tells me more of a message than what this foot washing one was. And so I don't hate the ad, but I at the same time it takes Jesus and his message, and I think it makes it so vanilla. It twists it
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I'm glad that that's what Matt got out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm stoked that that's what Matt
right, because you're right. We shouldn't be shocked about helping. Like, here's the thing, and I'm not tooting my horn at all. I'm not tooting my wife's horn at all. But once a month, actually, I'm not.
My wife's way better than you.
Right. I'm not. Take me out of the equation. Scratch that from the record.
Yeah.
I'm not tooting my wife's horn, but my wife once a month goes out and ministers to the homeless in Bremerton.
Yeah.
She goes out with a group. They bring sandwiches, some supplies, some things to help them out. So she's there on the front line. She's not shocked by those things.
Right.
And they're also spreading a message of come to the church. Come to the church. The doors are open. Come to the church. And the thing is that what you said is exactly what we need to realize, is that Jesus would go hang out at an LGBTQ event. Jesus would go hang out with a bunch of
at an
sinners.
AA meeting or whatever.
An AA meeting.
AA
Jesus
meeting.
would go hang out with these people, and he would call them to a better life.
Yeah, I tell my kids all the time. There comes a time in your life sometimes that like you have to. I always say, and it's probably harsh, trim the fat. Sometimes in your life, like I've had to stop hanging out with friends that I consider good friends because their decision making or their their walk of life was not conducive to what I wanted in my life. That doesn't mean that if they called me in a desperate situation at 1 a.m. and needed help, that I wouldn't show up for them.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I don't love them. It doesn't mean that when I see them, I'm not going to put my arms around them. But I also have to have a higher expectation for them if I do love them.
Right.
And I have to have a higher expectation for myself, right? Because you are who you associate with. And so I often, like I said, I go back to that, like that message gets lost a lot of times. Like, Jesus would hang out with these people. Not as is.
Right.
He would demand more of them.
Right. He's not at the college frat party chugging with all of them.
Yeah. Frank the Tank, dude. Yeah. And so I think that gets lost sometimes. I have a hard time with people who try to use that as, well, God would do this. I would hang out with my drug addicted friend as well and try to convince them to go to rehab and make better decisions. But I'm not also hanging out with them all the time because I have to make good decisions for myself. And I just think that gets used a lot.
Yeah.
For people to justify poor decisions,
right? To
justify a lifestyle that's not biblical, to justify what they're doing as being approved,
right?
And that's just not the case,
right? I like what Ed says here. I didn't see the ad, so maybe not the best to speak about it. But foot washing in the Bible isn't about salvation, but Jesus showing what our attitude should be towards others: humanity, humility, and grace. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with that. And that's part of the problem I have with this ad. Is that the beautiful side of washing people's feet?
Yeah.
The humanity, the humility, and the grace. But there's that other aspect of it of
I think there's just more to it. It's too simple.
Right. That's it. You made it simple.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I just think it's too simple.
Because if you're trying to reach people out there, they're only seeing that Jesus washed feet. Well, he did a lot more than just wash feet.
Yeah.
And Ed, you're absolutely correct with that.
Yeah. Drew, by the way, our favorite.
Drew, you missed our Duncan.
Good afternoon, you good-looking gentlemen.
Yes, I agree.
You're wrong, but we appreciate it.
It is afternoon where you're at, not here.
He's tired. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
All right. So there's my thoughts on that. And I like what Matt said. I like what Ed had to say.
Absolutely.
And I think to round it up, we just came to it. It's just too simple of a message.
Right. And you know what? We actually talked about it in our house because I watched, and I know this is probably going to pigeonhole me, but I watched Michael Knowles and what he had to say about it. And then I watched Matt Walsh and what he had to say about it. And I found myself taking both of their opinions, and I'm somewhere in there where I didn't hate it. I liked what they were trying to do, but they could have done a better job. I guess that's the best way to put it. But what I was going to say is in our house, we were talking about it. One of the images is of immigrants, illegal aliens, I'm guessing.
Who came up with that word, by the way, for people coming?
I don't know. That's weird. But it was a bus that said Chicago, and it was in a neighborhood, and it showed a woman who I'm guessing lives in that neighborhood who was out there washing the feet of illegal immigrant coming to America.
And that's based on the whole, like, give me your poor, give me your destitute.
And we came to the conclusion is that I'm not picking on or downplaying the illegal alien who came to that neighborhood, and I'm not picking on and downplaying the woman who lives in that neighborhood. I'm pissed off that the government has put those two parties in that position to have to deal with it.
I've said for a long time, and I saw a meme the other day that, and look, this is going to ruffle some feathers. This doesn't mean that I'm a Trump guy. It just, the meme had Trump on it, walking along a huge wall, which you assume to be the border. And I like the message of it. It says, building a wall doesn't mean you're not welcome. It's simply asking you to use the door, right? Like, do it the right way, right? You know, and I have some friends that are from Mexico that have immigrated here, and they did it the right way. And even they are irritated with the flow. Like, they're like, we did everything right to get family here to, you know, for that better life. And now we have 12,000 people a day or more coming over the border in locations that are reaping the benefits of this country that I had to work for.
Right. And the thing is that it's the government. The government has failed us. And it doesn't matter if it was Trump. It doesn't matter if it's Biden. The government has failed us because if they've known that this has been a problem, it should have been addressed. And they played politics with it to the point now where you've got cities like Chicago and New York, and we don't want to beat this dead horse, but you got cities like Chicago and New York.
I like horses. Who
can't handle it anymore. Even Boston, they can't handle it anymore. They can't handle the influx. And the thing is that some people say, well, Texas shouldn't send them up there. Why should Texas have to deal with it?
Just because of where they're located.
Right. And like I said, we go a lot farther, a lot deeper. Drew says, well, these FAA reports aren't going to write themselves.
Yeah. He also says, speaking of the donkey ads, you can order the jacket and sweatpants from the Dunking website for a total of $120.
Funny, he knows the price.
Yeah.
When did you order it? Yesterday?
Yeah. Did you overnight it? Couldn't wait.
I can't wait, Sharon. It's wicked awesome.
Yeah. And I've said this for a long time about the immigration thing. I don't know anybody. Even my, like, everyone wants to say, like, the conservatives, even my most staunch right-wing conservative friends that are like, shut it down and never let anybody in. I don't know anybody saying that. Like, and for those of you saying that that's what, like, conservatives want, you're so full of it, your eyes are brown. What I've always said is just let's put some turnstiles in and hand them a social security number as they walk through, so there's some tax benefit to it. Yeah, we're going to get you a job, but you're also going to pay taxes and pay into the system.
I saw somebody post a picture that said it was harder to get into the Super Bowl on Sunday than it was to cross the border.
Oh, boy. I've never said don't let them be here.
Right.
Let's just have some. And I am of the camp that it's too difficult to do it the legal way. Like, I couldn't pass these tests that they have to do and all that kind of stuff. And that's a statement of our education system as a whole, by the way. But
it's true.
Maybe make it a little bit easier, but trackable, right? Like, put the turnstile in, hand them a taxpayer ID number as they walk in, help them get the job, let them so that we know they're paying into the system.
And for me, it's not so much that I want that tax revenue. I just want, when we talk about,
I do,
but
because I got to pay for it to get Social Security.
But this is what I'm talking about. When we talk about people paying their fair share, that's people paying their fair share.
You want to be here? Then you have to be a part of the system that pays their fair share. We are offering Social Security benefits to people that have come into this country who have never paid into Social Security, and you're going to tell me that it's not going to be there when I get there and I've been paying into it for the last 25 years?
Yeah.
Dude,
All right.
Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll get fired up. All right,
move on.
this is not on the agenda, but it just came to my brain noggin. What I
Nope,
want to talk to you
it's not
about.
on the list.
It's too bad. Have you watched? Oh gosh, why am I blanking now? Jon Stewart. Did you watch his 20-minute opening monologue on the Daily Show on Monday?
Oh, I did not know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a Jon Stewart guy.
You might be after watching it because
Okay.
he went after Biden and Trump.
I will say
This is what I've been asking for
Yeah.
4+
Yeah.
years. Balance. Go after both of them.
Yeah, and I will say with Stewart crushed. Okay,
I
I'll
loved
watch
it. I freaking
Well,
loved
this is
it.
why I find myself lately, and this is crazy, but like, I hated him for forever, and now I'm like, when's the next Bill Maher episode on? I need to hear.
I
need to
know.
hear freaking.
He still
Maher.
has his moments though, where he has this little stupidity going on.
Yeah, he does. But like, even when the most liberal guy on TV is crushing liberals, bro, I got my popcorn. Like,
And that's the thing is there's actually liberals out there that are pissed off that Jon Stewart went after Biden for his old age. And I thought, but he went after Trump too. He went after
Maher's
both
still
of
a
them.
moron. I'm not saying he's not a moron, but he's still fun to watch now. Like, at least he's got some things now that like show some balance and some critical thinking.
So here's just an example of what he did on his show.
And by the way, before you do that, I equally hate liberals who can only see blue.
Yes.
And conservatives who can only see
Yes.
red. Like, be open-minded enough. Like, I know somebody who has a bumper sticker that just says "Vote Blue." Above all else, vote blue. And I'm just like, you're an idiot. Like, how about vote for the best possible candidate or the best possible right? Yes, it's no. I'm not shocking the world here. You guys know I lean conservative. A pretty good lean. But there are times I have voted for a Democrat, like because I try to at least look at policies and anyways. I can
So
go on
one
all
of his
day.
examples that he used was talking about Biden's age.
Yeah.
Which Biden is going to be, if I remember correctly, he's going to be 81. I know
Not even
Ed,
just
Ed
his
is
age.
stunned. So here's what he does. He plays a video clip of President Trump during his deposition, not remembering saying that he had a great memory. And then Jon Stewart goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong clip." You know, and everybody's laughing. I thought it was funny. And then he plays the clip of Biden, who can't remember what he's supposed to say in his press conference. And then comes back to Jon Stewart, and he takes a look at his sheet, and he goes, "Garbanzo beans."
Wasn't it last week? He just walked away in the middle of a
Yes,
sentence?
and then he came back. But that's what I loved about it is he went after both of them, and at the very end he pontificated a little bit. But I thought it was the right pontification. These two are the two oldest people to ever run for president, and he said they only beat that record by 4 years, which they established 4 years ago.
And it's not like here's the thing, man. Like, it's not even the age so much to me. It's just the competency. Like,
right.
I have Rachel's 94. Is she 94 now? 92, 94? Your old grandmother, Grandma Great, dude. That woman could run this country. like she's still freaking sharp as a thumbtack.
Right.
Like, she's on point, dude. Like, and if she was running, I'd be like, dude, vote for Grandma Great. This woman will shape this place up,
right,
and make you a wicked Italian soda when she's done. Oof. That said, I watched my grandfather dwindle away for 7-8 years with Alzheimer's disease. I know what this looks like. This man has dementia. Like, this man has dementia. You got that? You got that far off look in your eye, Joe. Like, this isn't about me ever saying I don't vote for him or he's not my president or whatever. Like, it's the age for me. I will be an ageist for all of us. No president. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. Probably.
You know what? And the thing is, I agree with that on that. And I also think we honestly need to take a look at term limits. I know that I've heard some people say, well, elections determine the end of the term.
No, it doesn't.
And
people just get lost. Like,
well, I'm going to give you an example. Yeah. So, last week when they were trying to pass a border funding package.
Crap. Ed Keeley approved.
You remember when they're trying to pass the border funding package, and it didn't pass?
Yeah.
You know who sponsored the bill?
Who?
None other than Chuck Schumer.
Oh.
You know who voted no on the bill?
Chuck Schumer.
No other than Chuck Schumer. So then they could turn around and they can make it a political issue. This is what irritates me and so I'm with Ed. And I don't have a problem with putting an age limit on it. And I think we need to take a look at putting
the funny thing
limits.
is too, and like you can say whatever you want. I know that like not everyone's a big fan of the guy, and I get that. Is Ted Cruz he's the one been pushing for term limits,
right?
And it was essentially end his career, like, right? Like I trust a man who is willing to end his career for the cause, like. And so it's funny because everyone's fighting back and being like, "This is ridiculous," and he was like, I agree. I'm ending my career, but we got to do this. Like,
right. We have to for the health of our country. We have to, because
no one's saying you got to get out of politics. But look, if you've been a representative for your area for say 12 years and that's the term limits, you got to go find something else to do. You got to go be a mayor. You got to go be a senator. You got to do something else. You know, like it. Because honestly, it's just like, what if you just worked at the same, like if you went into worked at a factory somewhere and did nothing for 40 years, like you didn't move up.
You worked at first, but then you got into a cushy position where you could just kind of
come and go as you please.
Smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, I can tell you this, since I became a voting age, it's the same effing people for the last 25, 30 years.
Perfect example, by the way. Who was what's-her-face that died recently? She was like 117.
Oh, boxer. Was a boxer? No, Feinstein.
Diane
Boxer's
Feinstein.
not too far.
Look. And that woman, just look back at her career. Incredible woman. Like, overcame incredible odds to get into her position. And what an example for a lot of young women and women of her time to look at.
It was elder abuse by the end.
And that said, like, she didn't even know what she was supposed to say when they wheeled her in.
Right.
And then she voted. She cast a vote the night before she died. And people were like, you had just said a week ago that she was in hospice and couldn't make a sentence. And yet she cast a vote. And then like their people were like, oh, the vote was cast like by proxy by, No. I didn't vote for your son's wife or whomever to cast a vote. I voted for you.
Yep.
It just, that kind of stuff.
Let's see what Hillary says. You did just say not to vote strictly on party, but on whoever is the best candidate. I think the same would be true about age. The sad part is neither party is giving us a great option.
There you go.
Both are giving us ones who age is at least a valid concern because they aren't acting like a sharp as attack 8-year-old. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Weekend
at Bernie's. Absolutely.
Weekend at Bernie's.
That's what I feel like whenever they bring out the
Weekend
president.
at Biden's.
I'm just like, and here's the thing too, is I hate it when people say, which by the way, it's so funny when Bill Maher called out everyone who said they were going to leave the country when Trump was elected. It's so hilarious. And I know people in my life who did that and they stayed here.
They're still here.
Yeah. Because it's so much better in these other countries that you're trying to go to. Anyway, I hate it when people are like, he's not my president, right? Like, because I didn't vote for him. I'm like, you're a U.S. citizen. That's the president. Yeah, that's your president.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Biden is my president.
Yeah, he's my president too.
And when my buddy in Denmark calls me and it's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, sorry, bro. Like, I have to answer to that. Like, I don't know.
We've had to say sorry for the last 8 years?
Yeah, I just, apologies. Like, I got nothing. Like,
oh, gosh.
That is my president. And I wish you would wheel him out to Green Acres and let him enjoy the last 3-4 years of his bumbling life.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So if you guys get a chance, go find Jon Stewart's opening monologue. I thought it was funny. I thought it was nice and balanced. He went after both sides, which is exactly what good political comedy is. And anybody that got butthurt on the left or on the right, you don't get it. You don't understand that is good political comedy.
Yeah.
What SNL did during the vaccine years, that wasn't good comedy. What they did during the Trump years, that wasn't good comedy.
It's supposed to be political satire.
Right.
Based on the entirety of the system. And at times, that's been the downfall of SNL over the last 5 years. And they've been a little bit better the last year and a half or so. It's been, they've had their moments. But like, you keep it equal. You can make fun of me. I don't care.
Right.
Like, just
I'm easy to make fun of.
Let's just keep it equal and give everybody a chance to feel like they're involved. So, yeah. Anyway.
Are you apologizing like a Canadian? No, what was it?
No.
I'm tugging my...
Tug on your balls.
Yeah.
No, if I was apologizing like a Canadian, I'd say, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Here's my gun. I'm sorry.
Apologies.
I'm sorry. I owned a gun. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not get talking about...
I didn't think that one out. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right.
Mr. Dimmer, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start wrapping this bad boy up.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got?
I was
Anything
just
else
thinking
before
about Canadians, and I had a funny Canadian story from back in the
Let's
day.
hear the
but
funny Canadian story.
I went to a bar one time.
What?
When I was 19, up in like Surrey.
Would Jesus go to this bar?
I think so. They had pretty good beer. And I was 19 and didn't know what good beer was. Remember when you were 19 and you thought like kokanee was like high-end beer?
Yeah.
People were like, dude,
whoa, look. Siri is listening to us.
Yeah.
Siri, calm down.
Hello, my son.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop.
But anyways,
Siri,
I went to a peeler. I went to a bar when I was 19 up in Surrey, and I was playing.
That's what started.
Surrey, BC. Surrey.
Ed says peeler.
Yeah. Anywho, I went there, and I'm just drinking beer and playing pool and whatever. And I was playing pool with these Canadian guys, and everyone starts drinking more and more as the night goes on. Canadians are great, by the way. I love Canadians. Crack me up. And this one guy, he's like getting fired up because I wasn't even I'm not a great pool player. I wasn't beating. I don't think I was like smashing him in pool, but I think he was just miserable and drunk and whatever. And then he's figuring out that and he was drinking, by the way, beer from the pitcher. That was his mug. Like he just had the whole pitcher. And he was like, finally he kind of figured out that I was American, and then he said something to me about, well, I don't like Americans or whatever. And I was like, well, that's a bummer, dude. And I'm like, we were having a good time up until then, right? So then he gets in my face at one point. It was like, he comes walking towards me, and then he was just like, maybe I'm going to beat your ass right now. And then he gets right up close to me and looks straight up at me. He's all of 5'6", and he was just like, you're pretty cool. He's I don't like Americans. I'm going to beat. He goes, I don't like Americans. I don't like to beat Americans' ass or something like that. And then he looked at me. And he's like, you seem pretty cool. And he walked away, just kept drinking his beer. And I was like, all right,
that's like a Canadian fight right there.
And he doesn't even know if I could have fought my way out of a paper bag, but it was just funny. He just looked at me. I was a whole foot taller than him, and he was like, I think we're good. Next picture's on me. Yeah.
Well, I want to touch on this real quick. I was going to try and wrap up the show, but I do want to touch on this because I know you have a little bit of a commentary. So Drew says one last thing about last Sunday. Nebraska Huskers beat number 2 Iowa Hawkeyes here in Lincoln. Now we're talking about the ladies, correct?
Yeah, and tonight is a big night in women's basketball.
Let's not talk about that yet.
Okay.
Do you guys know what happened after the game on Sunday? So apparently Nebraska did their press conference first, and the head coach of Iowa came in and threw a fit. She started yelling, "This is bullshit."
Coach Bluter? Lisa Bluter?
Mm-hmm.
Really? About what?
Yeah. They had just gotten beat.
Yeah.
And I guess it's an unwritten rule that the visiting team does a press conference first because they got to catch a flight. She made a big stink out of it and was cussing and just looked like she looked like a tantrum coach.
Yeah.
And so that was the big controversy. What little I read was, I guess, didn't she sit Caitlin Clark in the fourth quarter?
No, Caitlin Clark just didn't have a good fourth quarter.
Okay. So anyways, that leads us to
well I'll
tonight.
say this about Coach Bluter. I've always liked her. She's just very black and white. You're right or you're wrong.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong, she's not going to be quiet about it. You know what I'm saying? She stands up for what she thinks is right. And look, whether she handled it right or not,
she handled it wrong.
She handled it wrong, but she was right. Does that make sense? You can be right and handle it wrong. Both those things can happen.
And I don't know if she's apologized since then, but she needs to apologize to that lady basketball player who was in the middle of giving an answer when she had her blow.
And on the flip side of it, Nebraska needs to apologize for handling it wrong because they do. These are students that do need to get home and they have classes in the morning.
Yeah, student athletes.
So, but and so I think both can be right. She handled it wrong, but she is right in the sense that that's the way it's supposed to go. So,
and so the reason I said you have some commentary on this, is you made a post the other day, and you talked to me about it. I think Monday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about officiating in girls basketball in the WIAA. Or you want to say that for another day?
No, yeah. Actually, let's talk about it No, not next week. We have a guest. But he's only going to be on for half hour.
Well, we'll talk about it in the future.
I have some issues with officiating in the WIAA and watching my daughter get absolutely just hammered throughout this year. And nothing, and then watching North Carolina, watching them call a flagrant 1 foul on Armando Baycott from North Carolina the other day because he intentionally fouled somebody and he grabbed his jersey. So by rule, by grabbing the jersey, even though he didn't hurt him, he just kind of pulled him back and then he caught him. Like they called it a flagrant. So they get 2 foul shots in the ball. Yet my daughter all year long, they can come out and intentionally just absolutely hammer her and run over her from behind. I mean, to the point of like almost intentionally hurting her at times. And there's not even a foul called, let alone a flagrant, which by rule should be a flagrant. They need to get their crap in order, but that's a whole other thing.
And I agree with Hilditch. He says 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's miserable. The level, and I understand there's something. And we'll talk about this in more length at some point. There is something to be said about how bad parents and stuff have gotten to where people don't want to be officials and all that. But the level of officiating in Western Washington, I can't speak for Eastern Washington, and especially in the girls' game right now, is embarrassing. It's ruining the game for a lot of people, and it's getting people hurt. Quite frankly, I've seen some injuries that are pretty bad. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So all that to say, tonight, Caitlin Clark will break the all-time NCAA scoring record. I will be watching. The record is held by Kelsey Plum, who played for UW for the Huskies and now plays for the Las Vegas Aces. She's a phenomenal player, and she's been cheering her on this whole time, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do.
And Caitlin Clark is a generational talent and player, and not only that, her work ethic is generational. I point to her all the time for my kids. Like, you want to be great, you got to do the things that Caitlin Clark is willing to do to be great. So that record is going to fall tonight. She's 8 points from tying, 9 points from breaking it. She'll probably do that in the first 4 minutes. She averages 31 a game or whatever. I'm excited. I think it's exciting. And by the way, don't be a Cheryl. Because I know Cheryl's going to hate on her tonight because that's what she does.
Who's Cheryl?
Cheryl Swoops.
Oh, what's her problem?
She's an idiot.
Oh,
which is unfortunate because
Nailed
she's
it.
one of the greatest players of all time. She went on a rant a few weeks ago about it's not fair that they're acknowledging her because she's done it. She's broken the record. It's taken her more games, and she's a fifth-year senior and a volume shooter who only has 70 points because of the volumes shoot. Now, hold on, Cheryl, you're wrong. This is her 4th year in college basketball. She's played less games than Jackie Stiles, less games than you, less games than Kelsey Plum, and her shooting percentage is higher than all of you. So it's not all of it was a lie.
How do you feel about this?
It's not and I'll take this. And it wasn't me who said this. It was a commentator on I think it was on ESPN, or it might have been Bleacher Report, who was a black woman who said it reeks of racial tension.
Oh, geez.
Because Caitlin Clark's white. And if that's the case, Cheryl Swoops, with everything you've gone through as a female athlete to elevate girls basketball to where it is, you should be ashamed of yourself. So
I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate hearing that.
Here you are, a legend of the game, and you're bashing on a girl who just turned 22 years old, who just wants to play basketball and brings a ton of joy to people across the country because of I don't even know why. And everything you said was an absolute lie and farce. So anywho.
All right. On that note.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Yeah. So actually, first things first, let's go ahead and let's recognize. Check it out. Kayla Frost and Steven Sellers are the winners of the Home Sweet Love Nest photo contest. And
it's cold.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Tahuya Strong, baby. The two winners came from my backyard. Yeah. I love it.
I think we need to look into this.
Yeah. You can check the votes. You can recount if you want to. But the point is that
they just gave good write-ups.
I loved it. I love their stories, and it was beautiful.
And I was taking a nap when he voted. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I have 51% ownership in the company. So actually, no, not anymore. I used to.
Yeah. Let's say.
But the thing is,
my time has come.
But yeah, so they both won a $100 gift card to go out to dinner. I've already been in contact with Kayla and Steven, and I know where they want to go. So I'm going to get them those gift cards.
Steven's heading down to Casey's.
No, not at all. So congratulations again.
Going to the wigwam.
And you know what? Thank you again to everybody who did submit. We do appreciate it. I did love reading your stories and love why you had your favorite spots out there.
Crap.
And,
shortest delivery route for pits.
I wish it was.
Yeah.
I got to go get the gift cards.
Yeah.
I tried to get one of them online yesterday. It wouldn't work online, so I have to. So, yeah. But I mean, I get to deliver them, and then I'm done. I'm all done. But what's the next thing? What's the next thing we got here? Look at that. Look at that.
Boys.
Boys. We've written a book.
Your boys are published.
We've written a book.
Let's be honest, it's shorter than a novella.
And it's got plenty of pages for color crayons.
It's like 75, 80 pages. Consider it sold.
I love it.
Luke Weaver and Rory Pitts, the complete guide to successfully selling your home.
Here was the thing, is that we both have tons of knowledge in our head. Any pictures?
That's questionable. Tons of knowledge in our head.
Yes, there's one right there. Picture of a house. We have tons of knowledge in our head, but we didn't have it out on paper. We didn't have it organized in such a way that it would help sellers who are trying to sell their houses.
Yeah.
And so we now have this book, which is free. Free.
It's $3.53.
Did we mention this book is free? If you are thinking about selling your house,
or you know
if you're
someone who
just
is.
interested, or if you know somebody.
Here's the thing. Like, we get questions all the time about what should I do?
Yes.
How should I declutter? What should I fix? It's all in here. It's all in here.
Yeah. And so here's what I'm going to do is right now on the screen. I'm going to come back to us here. On the back of the book, we're actually going to have a service directory. So we also get people to say, hey, do you know a painter? Hey, do you know a handyman? Or do you know a carpet cleaner? Anything like that. So we're also going to have the names of, so you can reach out to them if you need something taken care of.
Yeah.
So we're pretty darn excited. It's a little incredible to me how much it takes to sell a house. When we went through this process and put this together, there's a lot to take.
I think my favorite thing is that, and I tell this to my clients all the time, is because we do this so often, and it's just what we do every day, that for us, it seems so easy and not a problem.
Yep.
And I think that we forget sometimes, like, this is the biggest decision people make in their lives. A lot of times, there's a lot of stress.
Why was there?
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, thumbs up.
How did we do that?
I don't know.
Bro, I don't know how that happened, but we just did a thumbs up to ourselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress and a lot that goes into it, and we just kind of run through things sometimes, and then people have a million questions, and so like being able to get it all down in here, so that when people are going through that, they have a guide, they have answers.
Yep.
And then we can fill in the blanks if need be. But it just reminds me, looking at 80 pages here that we put, that we have in here, it just reminds me of what a big deal it is.
Right.
And, and for us to be mindful of that when we're dealing with clients.
Absolutely.
Even though we do it every day, our clients aren't doing it every day. So,
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yay.
iOS gestures update causes the thumbs up.
Oh.
I don't know how we did it. I don't know if one of you did
Steph,
it.
you're amazing.
But thank you.
So much smarter than we are.
One more time. Brand new book. We're going to be, I think our goal is to send out 100 of these this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, to send this out to 100 sellers.
Yeah.
Let me put this up one more time. So text seller book, all one word, seller book to 206-207-0291. I also realized that this is the podcast, so not everybody can do the QR code.
Yeah.
So seller book, all one word, 206-207-0291. Or if you are on right now, there's your QR code, scan it and get yourself one of these bad boys. It will help you sell your house. And the thing is,
my gosh, Steph. Sorry.
what did you do? Oh, my word.
She just said to try it. Oh, Steph, you're amazing.
Oh, there you go.
Wait, I got one. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Like they married, like you get the muscle thing. Yeah. We're just trying all kinds of things out.
Yeah. The thing is, we know two really
Thanks, Steph.
really good listing agents.
Who?
And we'll recommend them to you.
Oh, yeah.
Us.
Oh, and by the way, Steph, since you're on here, May Peanut Butter Food Drive.
It's gonna be May. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be May.
We need to make a Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, that's a good
It's
idea.
gonna be May. Not pumpkin. I'm already in October. Peanut butter food drive.
This guy hasn't had pumpkin spice
I'm
in a
in a
couple months.
pumpkin spice
He's
mind.
twitching.
I am. I'm like, is it October yet?
Yeah, May. It's gonna be May.
That's it, man.
Appreciate
We
you
have
guys.
solved the world's problems. Get yourself a book. Reach out to us. Some of you, you're not going to reach out to us, yet you're still going to get one. That's how much we love you.
Hey, real quick. See the side of that mug? See what that says? Hashtag Luke and Rory All-Star. You too could be a Luke and Rory All-Star and get one of these awesome mugs and become part of the Luke and Rory All-Star team. But you'll have to ask us how. Another time. Reach out. Love you guys. Appreciate you
All right. Oh, look at it. We didn't even talk about this. Nah,
What is it?
it's not that important.
What is it? Don't leave me hanging.
What'd you do for Valentine's?
About what I'm doing right now?
Nothing?
We don't really do Valentine's.
Nope.
My wife always says, I don't want to get flowers on Valentine's Day because the Hallmark says you're supposed to send them. Do something for me on another day.
I think, we didn't do anything either. Yesterday was first day of Lent. So
that's right.
we went to Ash Wednesday service, and we really didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. We had a Valentine's Day celebration along with the Super Bowl on Sunday. And then I think I'm taking the family out tonight for dinner. So that's what we're doing for Valentine's Day. Lent, my friend, Are you giving anything up for Lent? You don't have to be Catholic to give something up.
You know, this kind of came up in conversation the other day because the wifey was at church on Sunday and I was not because I was at youth retreat leading people to God.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I spent the weekend. Yeah, by the way, over the weekend, I spent the weekend with 58 teenagers from our youth group.
Boy, you're just a sucker for
up in the snow.
Punishment.
It was, dude. These kids are awesome, dude. Like
That's so cool.
They really are. All of them are so cool and so much fun. And anyways, my wife got me a book that has to do with Lent and what our church is doing during the 6 weeks or whatever. And so I gotta read that and come up with something, I guess.
Nice.
I don't even know if it's so much I'm giving up on thing on. I have this whole. I'm trying to pray every night.
Good.
And I forget all the time. So it's more or less like a commitment to something versus giving up. Like,
yep. And that's kind of the approach I take too.
I'm giving up quitting for Lent. Good job, Matt.
Crab wants to know, what are you giving up, Pitts? I have been told that I'm never allowed to give up coffee again, so I'm not giving up coffee.
That was a rough 6 weeks.
Two times. There was 2 times I did that.
Golly.
No, what I'm doing, I'm actually doing something. I find myself in that camp of doing something instead of getting rid of something.
Yeah.
And so on the Hallow app, I don't know if you guys saw that commercial on Sunday at the Super Bowl, but I am doing the what do they call this? The 40-day challenge.
Who's your voice? Wahlberg, Jesus.
So it's actually a whole group of people. So the last couple of days it's been, and if you go on the Hallow app, check it out. It's a 40-day challenge. So the last 2 days it's been Jonathan
Rumi.
How do you say his last name?
Rumi.
So it's been him.
Yeah.
And it's been Father Mike Schmitz. And if
Jonathan Rumi, by the way, is Jesus in The Chosen.
Yep. If you know Father Mike Schmitz, you know. If you don't, go look him up. He is a fantastic priest. He did the Bible in the year and the Catechism in the year. And I just love listening to Father Mike. He's the same age as us. And so he just dumbs it down for stupid people like me.
I got to call him Father?
Father Mike. Father Mike. And so on Fridays, Marky Mark is going to talk about fasting.
Oh.
And then it's going to be a mix of other different people. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg is one of the people that's involved in helping grow the Hallow app and the Hallow platform. So it's good stuff. So that's what I'm doing. Crab, Jesus has asked you to come back.
I'm doing my own
We
version.
don't know where you went, but we need you to come back.
I'm picking up my own version, picking up a bad habit for 40 days.
Yeah, it's called watching our show.
Yeah. and then trying to quit it cold turkey.
Yeah.
Really challenging myself. Yeah.
And, I'll leave on this final word because Lance says it all. Go Cougs, baby. Go Cougs.
Y'all be good to each other. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Oh, wait.
We got a guest.
Yeah, that's right.
Ryan Bucciarelli, the Booch, who we became good friends with a few years ago. He was executive sales with the Tacoma Rainiers, and we did some things with the Rainiers. A lot of you might remember that or guests at our events. And Booch moved on to bigger and better things. He won. He got a beautiful wife, and they got kids now, and he started a family. And he took a job with the St. Louis Blues in the NHL. So he's in the professional hockey world in the sales. He's killing it. And we just thought, hey, that'd be kind of cool, do an update on Booch, what he's doing, and talk a little bit about what it's like in the professional sports realm. Yeah. So Booch will be on next week. We'll probably have him on right at the beginning for at least probably, I'd say, half hour or so. We're really excited about it. So Booch, I'll be reaching out to you. We'll get everything set up. And we appreciate you being willing to come on and chat with us. So that'll be exciting. So tune in next week to hear Ryan Bucciarelli of the St. Louis Blues.
All right, you guys take care of yourselves. Be good.
Yeah.
Be a little bit nicer out there. The world needs a little bit more nice. Yeah. And it's tough right now. I get it. I drove through Tacoma this morning. I get it.
Yeah, if you're looking for some feet to wash, I got some dogs for you.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!